exciting moment of football news. Now, this sports news rather will be bringing you updates from everything sports, from football, soccer, cricket, rugby, and every other sport in details. I am Wilfred Willie, your anchor for today. Moving straight to the headline, Lukaku's goal sent Chelsea into Club World Cup final. Chelsea won yesterday's game 1-0. Lukaku spearheaded the attack and he scored 1-0, leading Chelsea into the much anticipated Club World Cup final. Now the news in details. Chelsea will meet Brazilian side Palmeiras in the Club World Cup final after edging past Al Hilal at the Mohammed bin Zayed Stadium in Abu Dhabi. Lukaku scored the only goal in the first half. The Blues will now look to leave the only trophy that has evaded them across Roman Abramovich's 19-year ownership of the club. Boss Thomas Tuchel missed the game as he was isolating after testing positive for COVID-19. Chelsea dominated from the start against the Saudi Arabian side, and their breakthrough came from Lukaku just after the half-hour mark. Kai Havertz's left-wing cross was inadvertently headed into the Belgian spot by Yasser Al-Sharani, and he rifled home from point-blank range. It was Lukaku's 9th goal of the season and ended a 6-game drought after he missed a couple of opportunities earlier in the game. 2 minutes after the break, Havertz burst through on goal and clipped the post from the right angle despite having Lukaku and Akinziyech for support in the area. Asian champions Al Hilal barely threatened until Mohamed KANU shot over from distance after combining well with former West Bromwich Albion midfielder Matheus Pereira. Chelsea keeper Kepa Arrizabalaga then denied Moussa Marega from 8 yards out, while Odion Igalo and KANU saw shots blocked as Chelsea struggled to put the game to bed. But the European champions held in the end, and in Saturday's final, we have the chance to avenge defeat in this competition a decade after their last appearance. Yes, Chelsea need to win this FIFA World Cup final, and it's the only competition that they don't have under their belts yet. Moving on to the next headline. Manchester United step up search for permanent manager, with Pochettino favoured. Manchester United are in search for a new manager. Pochettino is favoured to become the favourite to sign for the Manchester United team. Now the news in detail. The Red Devils are looking to hire a full-time boss to replace Ole Solskjaer with the PSG coach, and Eric Ten Hag topping their list. Manchester United are stepping up their search for a permanent manager following the departure of Ed Woodward. Richard Arnold replaced the outgoing Woodward at the start of the month, and it's understood that search for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer permanent replacement will intensify over the coming weeks. It is understood some players at the club believe Pochettino is the likeliest candidate and are keen to work with the Paris Saint-Germain boss. What do we know? Raphael Rangnick was appointed as interim manager until the end of the season when Solskjaer was sacked in November. The German is expected to move upstairs at the club, taking on an advisory role once a permanent manager is brought in. Pochettino has been a firm favourite of the United board for a while, and Goal understands he is keen on the move to Old Trafford. However, the former Tottenham boss dismissed suggestions of the move at the end of last year to focus on the job in France. United are keen to have an agreement in place with a new manager so it can be announced at the end of the season, and Pochettino is an appealing prospect, especially due to his current situation at PSG. The 49-year-old has come under pressure after their exit from the Coupe de France last month, and there is a feeling that pressure will intensify if they exit the Champions League with a two-legged tie against Real Madrid coming up. Zidane has already been tipped to replace Pochettino this summer. As well as Pochettino, Eric Ten Hag is admired by the United hierarchy. It is understood Rangnick, who will be involved in having a say in the managerial appointment, likes the 52-year-old. He is currently manager at Ajax, where he has been in position since 2017 and has won 5 titles during his time here. Yes, Manchester United are in the chase to sign a new manager. Pochettino looking highly favoured to complete that role. Moving on to the next headline. Spurs and Southampton play out to thriller as Adama secures dramatic win. Yes, Tottenham Hotspur yesterday were thrashed dramatically by Southampton. Here are the news. Here is the news in detail. Tottenham twice blow lead to lose versus Southampton in the final 10 minutes. Southampton scored 2 late goals to grab a tense 3-2 victory against Tottenham Hotspur at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Wednesday. Mohamed and Che Adams stunned the Spurs defense in the final 11 minutes, turning the game around after Son Heung-min looked to have grabbed the winner for the loss on 17 minutes. Southampton were the better team in the first half and trailed through a 19-minute win goal from Jan Bednarek, which had put Antonio Conte's side ahead against the run of play. Armando Broja equalized just 4 minutes later before Son put the host back in front. However, late goals from Ionossi and Adams turned the game on his head to give Southampton all 3 points. Substitute Steven Bergwijn thought he had rescued the points for Tottenham in stoppage time, but his effort was ruled out for offside after a VAR check. The result means Spurs remain in 7th place in the Premier League, 4 points behind West Ham in 4th, with 3 games in hand, while Southampton move up into 10th. It was a stressful night for Tottenham manager Conte, who watched his team get at play at times and defend appallingly. He also got embroiled in a fierce slanging match with Southampton players and technical staff after Son's goal. I quote, "In the first half we made many mistakes and many times the pass was no good and we risked complicating our life today," Conte said. "The players gave everything tonight and this is why it was a pity to lose the game." The night had begun well for Tottenham when Lukakus played a clever pass to Pierre-Emile Højbjerg and his low cross aimed at Son was intercepted by Sen defenders Bednarek, who could only turn the ball into his own goal. Southampton immediately changed gear and began to carve open the Tottenham side with fluent football. The hosts then took the lead in the 70th minute when Harry Kane played Imura, who whipped in a low delivery for Son to meet with a brilliantly controlled shot. Southampton felt there had been a foul on Broja by Emerson Royal in the build-up, and while he was down having treatment, Conte lost his temper, gesticulating at Southampton players. When order was restored, it was Southampton who had the clearer heads, and thanks to a couple of majestic James Ward crosses and some non-existent Tottenham marking, they returned home with a deserved 3 points. The mentality and character of the team is outrageous. It is fantastic to watch, Saints manager Ralph said. They are fighting for everything. We played fantastic football and played 23 passes before the second game. Fantastic. Yes, Spurs Tottenham Hotspur were beaten by Southampton yesterday in Villa, and a shocker victory for Southampton. Now moving on to the next headline. UEFA 12.7 billion euros deal is a new deal for new clubs. News and details. A new projected 12.7 billion euros marketing deal for Europe's top clubs has been hailed as a new dawn following the collapse of plans for the European Super League. European Clubs Association Chairman Nasser Al-Khelaifi has written to clubs about the new deal for UEFA major club competitions. It is understood projections for the deal will see a rise of 40% on current income levels from broadcasting. Proposals for the European Super League collapsed last year. In the aftermath of the failed Super League project, Al-Khelaifi, president of PSG, replaced Andre Aguirre as the head of ECA. This week it was confirmed team marketing and relevant sports have agreed marketing deals for UEFA clubs competition from 2024 to 2027, when the Champions League will expand to 36 teams. Revenue is projected to reach 5 billion euros per season across those 3 years, an increase of around 40%. It represents a tectonic shift in the role that clubs now play, thanks to ECA and in partnership with UEFA in the decision that shaped European football, Al-Khelaifi said in later saying by BBC Sport. It also represents a new dawn of financial stability and opportunity for European clubs, as the way in which our club competitions are commercialized will be transformed. Those backing the deal regard it as another nail in the coffin of the European Super League. Plans emerged last April when 12 sides from across Europe, including 6 from the Premier League, had agreed to join the new competition. Protests and condemnation from France, other clubs, players and even royalty led to 9 of these sides then pulling out of the plans. However, Juventus, led by Agnelli, Real Madrid and Barcelona, remained and are yet to abandon their legal fight. Cafenarin and Agnelli are both due to speak at the Financial Times Business of Football Conference next month, although the pair will not be on stage together. Now, the next headline. Union Berlin's only revealed dream of playing Premier League football. Notwithstanding his notable display in the Bundesliga, the Super Eagles is unyielding over his quest for a future in England. Union Berlin striker Taiwo Awoniyi has expressed his desire of playing in the Premier League. The Nigerian international moved to German's capital on a permanent basis in a €6.5 million deal from Liverpool in 2021. At the stadium, and at in Foster in the Hungarian campaign. And only he has contributed 9 goals in 18 league appearances for Jos Fischer's side. Although he has 4 seasons left with the Berlin side based outfit, he has not hidden his desire to represent an English top fight in the future. The Premier League is my dream. Everyone knows that, even here at the club. I only told Peter the day. If I lived in England, it would be easier for my wife and child, if only because of the language. In addition, my sister and a brother live on the island. Having impressed with the Nigeria under-17 and under-20 teams, the 24-year-old was signed by Liverpool in 2015 from Imperial Academy before he was sent on loan to German second-tier outfit FSV Frankfurt. Unable to secure a UK work permit, he spent the next 6 seasons out on a series of loans, spending time at FSV Frankfurt in the German second division, Eredivisie outfit NEC Nijmegen and Belgium's Macron and Gent. In the 2019 to 2020 season, he was shipped to Mainz. There he was 22 appearances, scoring 5 times to help the Carnival Club secure qualification for the UEFA Europa Conference League. On September 19, 2020, Awoniyi left for a 7th loan spell, joining Union Berlin, and 9 months later he was signed on a permanent basis by the club. Even after his inability to feature for Champions Club men in any competitive game, Awoniyi said his time at Liverpool was a great period for his career. I have always said that Liverpool is one of the best things that have happened to me as a footballer, because it gave me a platform to achieve my dream with them. I have no regret at all with fiber football. I did not see not being able to play a game in the Premier League as a regret, because in life, with time, everything is still possible. So I count myself, my time as a Liverpool player is as something great for my career. Yes, this is the end of Sport News on Free TV. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I still remain good for the really. Don't forget to your crap on that version. So I come your way next time. Bye.